Let's make goat meat pepper soup. Here's what you'll need. Goat meat, fresh paprika, onion, pepper soup spice, Scotch bonnet peppers, salt, uziza seeds, ginger, garlic, dried habanero peppers, all-purpose seasoning, crayfish, seasoning cubes, fresh basil, scent leaves, yam. This is totally optional. First, I start by washing my goat meat. I typically use salt to wash my goat meat, but you can use vinegar, you can use salt. If you notice, by looking at the skin of the goat meat, I initially used the knife to scrape the back clean. So you can do that. I didn't show that in this video. However, you can just do that on your own. When I am done washing the meat with the salt water, I typically give it a good rinse, just like I'm doing so. Then I just drain it and set it aside. The next thing I like to do is to cut down the goat meat into smaller sizes. You can cut them smaller than you are seeing in this video, but for the sake of this video, I'm using slightly bigger sizes. You can cut them into bite sizes if that's what you're going for. Uziza seed is one of my absolute favorite ingredients to use. Now for this recipe, I am bashing them open. I'm going to make a bouquet garni. This means that I'll be adding the bashed uziza seeds into a mesh bag or a cheesecloth and then dropping it into the pot. I want the flavor of the uziza seeds. However, I don't want it to be overpowering, which is why I am using it this way, or making a bouquet garni. Next up, into a blender, I am adding my fresh paprika or tatatshe. I am adding 1 Scotch bonnet peppers, onion, garlic, ginger, and crayfish. I will add a little water to help blend this up. Once this is blended, set aside until you're ready to use. Now let's get cooking. Into a pot, add the washed goat meat and season with all-purpose seasoning, dried habanero peppers, some seasoning cubes, and salt. Then stir this while cooking on low heat. Next up, poke some holes on your Scotch bonnet peppers, or make some incisions on your Scotch bonnet peppers. I do this to release the flavor of the Scotch bonnet peppers slowly. Then I add 1/4 of an onion and I stir this combine. These two ingredients would typically melt into the soup and you would rarely even notice that they are there. By making incisions into the pepper, it's also a great method of cooking spicy food for kids, because you release the flavor without it being overly spicy. After 5 minutes, I add my pepper mix. Then I stir this completely. The reason why I am using pepper mix is for color. I like to use tatatshe because of the color that it gives your pepper soup. I like it, and I like that it gives it this sweet note. So next thing, I'm going to add my uziza seeds. I am trying to build flavor as early as possible. So next thing, I'm going to cover this up and allow this to cook for 20 to 25 minutes or until the meat is tender. Once the meat is tender, I fish out my bouquet garni, which is the uziza seeds, and I discard this. If you still find some of the pepper or the onion, you can also take that out now. Next up, I'm going to add my pepper soup spice, and I'm going to add my chunks of yam or my yam cubes. Again, this is totally optional. You can decide to omit this, but I am using yam because I want the pepper soup to be more like a meal than an appetizer. Stir this completely to ensure that the yam is mixed thoroughly. Then you taste this and adjust the seasoning. Ensure that you taste and adjust your seasoning. Then I typically just add more water to cover the meat and the yam because I need the yam to actually cook. Then I add a bunch of basil leaves or just 2 big basil leaves. Don't worry, just like the pepper and the onion, this will also melt into the soup. So if you're wary about having like big chunks of basil leaves, don't worry. This is also adding flavor to the soup without any obstruction. So then I typically just cover my pepper soup to allow the yam to cook. Now while the yam is cooking, I'm going to chop up my peppers. So this is typically for garnish. I'm chopping up some Scotch bonnet peppers, and I'll also chop up some red bell peppers. You can totally omit this, or you can do a mix of red bell peppers, green, yellow, whatever that rocks your boat. But today I'm just using Scotch bonnet peppers and some red bell peppers. Once the yam is cooked, I take my herbs, which is my basil leaves and my scent leaves, and I smack them to release their, the oil, and also release the, intensify the aroma. Next thing, I am adding the Scotch bonnet peppers. Again, this is just for garnish. Then I will cut up my basil leaves into the soup. I'm adding some red bell peppers for that extra crunch and some freshness that it brings to the soup. And then finally, I will add the scent leaves, the chopped scent leaves. And that's it. Our soup, or our goat meat pepper soup, is ready. This is ready to be served and enjoyed as you please. Now off you go, make some flavorful goat meat pepper soup. I do hope that you've enjoyed this recipe, and I do hope that you give this a try. If you do let me know in the comment section. And until next time, I will see you in my next video. Love you, munchos.